Hi there, dear viewer. Welcome to our discussion. It is the second day of June 2022 and the second day of the discussion on the life of Saint Francis Caracciolo. Now, yesterday we had a discussion with Father Eric and Brother Pacific on the early life and religious journey of Saint Francis Caracciolo, their founder. And we learned that he co-founded this congregation, the Order of the Clerics Regular Minor, alongside John Augustine Adorno and Fabrizio Caracciolo. So today we are set to discuss on this order of clerics regular minor, or rather other people also known them as Caracciolini or Adorno fathers and brothers. But first things first, let us get to know who are representing the Caracciolini brothers and priests today. Brothers, welcome. Kindly introduce yourself to the viewer.
Thank you. My name is Brother Gerard Okenya. I'm a Caracciolin, and I'm also a student, a second year student at the Don Bosco Tume. I'm studying theology.
Thank you very much for making time for the discussion, Brother Gerald.
Yeah, thank you. I myself am Brother Adelar Chahi. I'm also a Caracciolini, and I'm doing my third year of theology at Don Bosco Tume College. Yeah.
You're welcome, and feel free to share with us more about the order of clerics regular minor. Now, dear viewer, as usual, we value your feedback, we value your queries, and we are always ready to respond to them as soon as we are able to. So feel free to send your questions revolving around the life of Saint Francis Caracciolo, and more specifically about this order of clerics regular minor. Anything that you've heard about them, anything you need to know about them, just drop your questions on our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Our number is 0717-424-866. Now, my name is Sasha Elizabeth, and I'll be taking you through this discussion. So welcome, and let's get started. All right, to start with, let's get to know who are the Order of Clerics Regular Minor.
Thank you. The Order of the Clerics Regular Minor is one of the religious families. And the way you have mentioned, we take different names depending on the country and the place where we are. Like now in English countries, we use the word Adorno fathers. In the French country, Père Caracciolini. Sometimes we are being called Mapadri Caracciolini in Kiswahili, Caracciolini fathers and brothers. So it depends.
What does it depend on? Is it the translation, or it's just the context, the language that is used within?
Okay, usually it's the translation that brings that changes, but it means the same because the main is Caracciolini.
Caracciolini.
Yeah,
what
according
about
to our
Adorno?
founders.
Adorno?
Adorno now, that is when we want to talk about our founders. Their founders, that means, let me go direct to
Augustine Adorno.
We have Augustine Adorno, Fabrizio Caracciolo, and Ascanio Caracciolo, the one we are calling Francis Caracciolo. They are the three founders who founded our order.
And all right, now when was this congregation started?
Thank you. Our congregation started in the 16th century. To be more specific, it was on 1st July 1588. It started in Italy. It is where it took root during the reign of Pope Sixtus V. Yeah, he's the one who approved our order. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, Brother Gerald, after this congregation that was started, usually there are founders or people who come together and feel that the idea of initiating this congregation is important. You have already mentioned these founders, but could you please share with us how did the idea come about?
Thank you. So the idea of founding the order, it came first from Auguste Adorno. He is the one who had that idea. He failed and he started praying towards this idea of finding a religious family. Then he thought of inviting his brother. He was a priest of one of the dioceses there in Italy. He wrote a letter and they met. They agreed with the idea and they thought of starting that family. They also decided, they felt that there were another priest who was named Ascanio Caracciolo. That is the current Francis Caracciolo, whom we'll celebrate on 4th. They wrote a letter to him. Now, they gave a messenger. It was a guy. The person who was delivering this letter, unfortunately, he knew another Ascanio Caracciolo. He was also a priest in that diocese. So he went and gave him that letter. Ascanio, he found him adoring the Blessed Sacrament. He was kneeling before the Most Holy Sacrament. He was adoring. And his main intention was that one day God may help him so that he can also find a religious family, so that he can have some brothers along with whom they can be able to work with, especially in the promotion, in the serving of the poor people in the society, and also in the promotion of the Holy Eucharist. That's how they came, the three, and from that time they started founding an order. But unfortunately, the first two founders, they did not take a long life. They died before, after a short while after finding an order. Now Francis took a long time to carry out the development and the formation of the order. And he was the one that was canonized in the church. He became a saint, but the other one is Auguste Adorno. Is only a venerable. And Fabrizio Caracciolo, he remains like a priest. He died just like a priest.
All right, well, that's quite intriguing and interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, for every congregation, there is always a purpose or the drive that fuels or rather motivates the founders to start the congregation. Why was this congregation or the Order of Clerics Regular Minor started? What was the main purpose?
Thank you. It is true that when a congregation starts his mission, it means that there is something which pushes them to start.
Absolutely.
And our order, if you realized well, it came just after the Council of Trent, which is the 19th Ecumenical Council, which was held in 1545 to 1563. And there was the problem of the reformers, which was about, there we found three main reformers: Calvin, we have Zwingli, and Martin Luther. And in the position of the Eucharist, there was a challenge. They agreed that really Jesus is present in the Holy Eucharist, but they did not agree with, especially Martin Luther, with the doctrine of transubstantiation. And because of that, according to him, he was saying that Jesus is present in the Eucharist. Yes, he agreed, but he said is there timely. When the Mass is finished, the sacrificial of the Mass is finished, when the people, the Christians, are dismissed, Jesus is no longer present in the Holy Eucharist. According to the position of Trent, Trent came to affirm that Jesus is really present in the Eucharist during consecration and even after the consecration. That's why in our church we have that culture to keep the holy species in the tabernacle, which means that those holy species can be taken to the poor, to the sick people, and we can keep them for the purpose of adoration, of worship, even of venerating them, because we are aware that Jesus is really there. So the purpose of starting our congregation, it was to continue to emphasize on the adoration of the Holy Eucharist. That's why our founders decided to continue by supporting Trent, the affirmation of Trent concerning the adoration of the Holy Eucharist. That's why our founders, they took time adoring the Jesus Christ found in the Holy Eucharist. Many of they spent their times adoring Jesus Christ present in the tabernacle. That's why they took a long time by adoring.
Thank you very much, Brother Gerald. Do you have something to add on the purpose of founding this congregation?
Thank you. I think the brother Adelar has said many parts of why the order was formed. But I think what I can add is that they wanted our founder, they opted it is better to found an order that will put more emphasis on the Eucharist, because the reformers, the way I said, they were denying the presence after the species have been consecrated. They think that now Christ he remains there for a short while. That now to maintain that continuity that Jesus, after they have been consecrated, they are no longer normal species or host. They thought that it is better to put more emphasis. That is why we find in our missions we have some groups, we have some devotions. We try to teach people about, just like our pastoral part, we emphasize more about the teachings about the Holy Eucharist, which became part of us. So we wanted to respond towards that reformation, because they brought up another false doctrine that was against the teachings of the church.
Thank you very much. Now, every religious congregation in the Catholic Church has a charism within which they are founded, one that guides their operations, their apostolates across the globe. Please share with us your charism and how do you actualize or implement them?
Our charism is centered on the Eucharist, which must be adored and venerated. That's why it means that from the bread we receive to the bread we share. That is about the Eucharist, which means that the fruit of your adoration, the fruit of love, the fruit of joy, the fruit of charity, which is coming from your adoration, must be taken outside. You can practice by sharing with the poor, with whatever you have, by visiting the sick people, by by assisting the poor, those who are in need, which means that in brief, our charism is focused on is centered on the Eucharistic adoration.
So now, how the Saint Francis Caracciolo was a winner or a hunter of souls. Do you, during these apostolates or your missionary work, also seek out people for such service to God and humanity?
Our founder, especially the main founder, Francis Caracciolo, was called the Hunters of Souls, because in his life, in his mission as a priest, his intention was to bring people to God. And especially in his pastoral life, he was trying to bring those people, the sinners, to the way of conversion. That's why he was called the the hunters of souls.
So how do you practice that as brothers and priests of this order?
Yeah, as brothers or priests of this order, it is true that we have apostolates, many kinds of apostolates, and in our way of doing apostolates, there is the part of Mass. We are doing also we are catechizing people, especially those people who are not yet baptized or confirmed. By our preaching, by our way of doing our apostolates, we bring people to God, towards baptism and the Eucharist, even the confirmation, which are the sacraments of Christian initiation.
Thank you very much, Brother Adelar. Now, what is the process of formation, Brother Gerald, in your congregation? How is it different, or how is it unique from other formation?
Thank you. About the process of formation, here for us, the Caracciolines, or the brothers and fathers of Caracciolin, we usually have 4 dimensions in which we consider. Here, I name the first dimension is spiritual dimension, in which we consider whether the candidate is able to pray well, is able to do what we call Lectio Divina, that is to meditate the Word of God well, is able to live according to the Christian values. Then we have another dimension that we can look about human dimension. How do you appear physically when we see you? If you are lame, you are having a problem, we cannot take you. But at least you must be physically fit. Then also, how do you relate with the other people, the opposite sex and such alike? We also consider that one. You must be a person who is who has that affection, who is able to control himself. And also we have religious dimension, which is the third one. In a religious dimension, we consider if the candidate or this person is capable of living according to the teachings of the church, and specifically according to the teachings of the Caracciolines. Are you able to assimilate what we call community life, to live with a life of common where we share everything, to relate well with our brothers and sisters around in the community and outside there? Are you able to take evangelical vows? And here in evangelical vows, here I mentioned that apart from the 3 evangelical vows that the church has given us, in most of that we can find in most of the orders or religious institutes, ours, we have a 4th vow, which is the vow of humility. Humility now, it helps us to carry out that charism that we have talked about, to go and approach the people who needs our attention, the poor people in the society, those who have been rejected, we go for them, the prisoners, the sick people, and especially those condemned to death. That's why those are some of the missions and apostolate that we are trying to do in our different parishes, in our different areas of apostolate.
You mentioned about physical fitness. Somebody would wonder if they have special needs. Why is it important for someone to be physically fit, in as far as your mission work is concerned? Just to clarify, for someone who would wonder why you need somebody who is fit physically.
Thank you. We need somebody who is physically fit because, as you know, we are a missionary congregation, and you will be working all over the world, wherever you will be sent. Now, you don't expect to find the modern means of transport in every part. Some places, even if there is some modern means of transport, but there is a challenge, some challenges of roads and whatever. You will be forced to walk on foot, just like our Master Jesus Christ used to walk to walk to the upper hill, to the interior villages where vehicles, where bikes cannot reach. So that's why we highly encourage that this person who wants to become a Caracciolin, he must be physically fit. So that he can be able to undertake that mission. And also, but we cannot neglect, if he comes, we consider which physical bareness is that person is serving, but maybe see lame one leg, that is not a major problem. As long as he's able to, at least he can walk some distance, we can consider that one.
All right, thank you very much. Now, as you know, dear viewer, missionaries are really work in different places. They do not actually discriminate or choose where to go, because most of the time they reach out to the far-flung places, remote places where you cannot access electricity, internet connection, or automobiles, like Brother Gerald mentions. So it is really quite important for you to be physically fit and ready for the mission. That's why you have to be prepared to go through the formation process. But of course, as he says, there are some exceptions. So if you feel like you can join them regardless of your special need, you can move around and you can touch lives and move forth with the charism of the Caracciolini brothers and priests. Why not try? But right now, let's get now to know how can one join the order of clerics regular minor, the people who are watching out there. What are the prerequisite requirements for one to join this congregation?
Thank you for the question. The conditions that we mentioned to enter our order of clerics regular minor are, first, we have the person who wants to join us must be baptized and confirmed. That is one. The second one, he must be single, not someone who has tempted the marriage or someone who is married. No. The third one, we ask, the person must be someone who has completed the studies, the initial studies, which maybe has a degree or a diploma. He must come. That is the third condition. The fourth one, the person to be admitted in our congregation, he must be free. Someone who is responsible, is able to make a decision. But when the person has attended 18 years, he can knock to our doors. It is one of the conditions to enter in our congregation. Yeah, and many things, as long as
many things. Let me add, maybe.
Maybe Brother Gerald can help you.
So the person must be free, the way he said. You must be free if you feel that you have an interest of joining us, so that we can continue with the spirit of St. Francis Caracciolo of promoting the Holy Eucharist. That is the free willingness. Then afterwards, what follows is you write a letter. You must write a demanding letter, asking, requesting, so that you can be admitted.
To whom is the letter addressed?
The letter is usually addressed to the vocational director. We have a vocational director here. He can be either a priest or sometimes he can be a brother. So he can address it to whoever. He can even address it to us, any religious, any Caracciolin, wherever you meet him, you can talk to him. Then he will direct you. Then another thing, he must have finished the education and passed at least to have a university qualifications, because you are going to undertake studies which are university studies which are not easy. So your head must be well fed, so that you will be able to catch up with the studies. And also we'll request some things like a recommendation letter from the parish priest, a recommendation from the family members, so that to show that at least they know you, they are willing to to allow you so that you embrace this life. So that's why we are encouraging, especially myself, I'm encouraging the Kenyans who are hearing me, because I'm one of the first products of the Kenyans to be taken to this religious family, and we are to those who are at least nearing priesthood.
Wow.
So I'm encouraging my dear brothers outside there to join us so that we become many, so that we can also be sent all over the world. We explore the importance of remaining with Jesus, adoring, to get the necessary force. Then afterwards we go out and serve according to the necessity of the place where we are. If we find they need to be educated, why can't we help them? If we find that they need to be given health, why can't we? According to the necessity. So it's a good charism that I can encourage my people to follow. But also I can underline that we, the Caracciolins, were the unique congregation that is serving what we call circular adoration, where we put more emphasis. And a Caracciolin adores continuously. In fact, the founder of St. Francis encouraged that we adore 24 hours. That's why we also have a continuous, we have different groups. You adore at least 30 minutes or 1 hour. You are given to adore, you pray for the whole world.
Thank you very much, Brother Gerald. Now, as we close the discussion, my director says our time is up. Just in a few seconds, I'll start with you, Brother Adilar. Just tell us, what does someone stand to gain by joining this congregation? Why should they choose this congregation of Caracciolini brothers and priests?
Okay, thank you for the question. People are, as I said, they are free to choose this congregation, and I say that it is the best one, because we know that the Catholic Church without Eucharist does not exist. The climate point of our church, of our way of worshiping, is the Eucharist. So we encourage people to come, to join us, to adore, to worship together, to venerate the Eucharist together, so that at the end of our lives, so that we may attain the reward, which is the eternal life.
Thank you very much, Brother Adilar Chahi. To you, Brother Gerald, what would you like to tell the viewer as your parting shot?
Thank you. For those who are watching us, I would like to encourage them, especially the Catholics, to have that continuous love towards the Holy Eucharist, love towards Jesus, and love towards our brothers and sisters, especially those who are in need. They really need us. And also parents to allow their children so that they can embrace a religious life and join us, so that we can become many. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brothers Gerald Okenye and Adilar Chahi. And on behalf of the Capuchin TV, and especially the crew that is here, we'd like to wish you the very best in your spiritual journey and your vocational life generally. We pray that you attract more people to come and help you with the mission work and keeping the spirit of adoration of the Eucharist alive in everyone. Thank you very much, dear viewer, for your time. Now, I'd like to quote from Matthew chapter 9, verse 37, that says that the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. So actually, you can borrow a leaf from that and get to pray that the Lord of the harvest listen to his voice and join other people. Remember, you don't have to be a religious. You can still touch a life in whatever situation you are, even as a laist. We'll get to hear about that tomorrow in our next discussion about the missionary work of the Caracciolini brothers and priests. Now, right now, I'd like to thank the team that is working behind the scenes to make sure that this comes to you in the smoothest way possible. My camera person has been Anthony Simiu, and assisted by Sister Evelyn Ozoni of the Missionary Sisters of the Holy Rosary. Our sound mixer has been Eric Otieno. Now, thank you very much, dear viewer. My name is Sasha Elizabeth. See you tomorrow for the continuation of our discussion. Goodbye.